enormously, and we'll be back, as I say, next week.
On digital, online, BBC 6 Music.
From 1984, Madness and Michael Caine starting this week's Steve Show, 6 Music, BBC 6 Music, Steve Merchant Show, the Steve Merchant Show, BBC 6 Music with me, Michael Caine. I'm confused, I'm already confused. Harry, that's always been an odd song.
Yeah.
It's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking that because I've not heard it probably since it came out.
I know.
Yeah, it's very, very strange.
It's good, but you know, it's Michael Caine features on there.
Yeah.
They asked him if he would record their voice. He did, after much persuasion, apparently. But it's not about Michael Caine. It's about
a man.
Well, it's about a man and a grass, a super grass in sort of Northern Ireland during the Troubles, who's nicknamed Michael Caine, but Michael Caine's there in it himself.
And
then they seem to be singing about he wanted a picture which is very romantic. It's a very weird.
And you've got Suggs who can't really sing, singing about Michael Caine who doesn't really act.
Ooh. Error.
Edgy.
Error.
What?
It's not Suggs singing.
Well, I thought that. It didn't really sound like it.
It's only Chaz Smash from the band.
I can't believe
it's old Smashers.
Oh, the emails and texts.
Oh, people are furious. Suggs himself will be up in arms. But anyway, there we are. Sam, I imagine you've never even heard that song before.
I don't think I have, to be quite
honest. Are you
honest.
familiar with the Nutty Boys?
With the who?
With the Nutty Boys.
Oh, Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I once had to sing Baggy Trousers in a GCSE drama production.
Wow, I bet that was a hell of a show.
It was horrendous.
What was the story?
Poor, to say the least.
Okay. Was it about school?
No, it was a psychiatrist and all her patients. And then the reveal at the end was she was herself in therapy.
I think a lot of us would like to see that reenacted on today's show. Perhaps a little bit later. If you could start work on that now. You know, one of the reasons I played Madness was, of course, they were always famous for their amusing videos.
Absolutely.
And their generally irreverent attitude. They were the Nutty Boys.
Exactly.
For God's sake, they didn't care. And, of course, Comic Relief this week. It couldn't get much nuttier than some of the crazy antics you see on that show.
It's very serious, though, Steve.
It's a very serious message behind it, my friend. There's a very serious message behind it. It's been going for, what is it now, 27 years? And Africa's still not saved. So, once again this year, we need to delve deep into our pockets, despite the economic credit crunch, and see what we can do. But don't worry, the way to encourage us to do that, of course, because apparently it's not enough for the great British public just to feel that they should help out Africa. No, they need 14 hours of non-stop laughs, and that's what they're going to get on Friday. But in sort of honour of that, I thought we could talk a little about Comic Relief, and also we're going to talk to, hopefully, if all goes well, a couple of people involved in different ways this year. One off is a friend of the show, Rob Brydon.
Excellent.
Who's involved with, obviously, the Comic Relief song this year, which, so he's entering that great pantheon of stuff that includes
The Stonk,
and was it a version of Help starring Bananarama and Nana Nana Nini Nini Nunu, which was essentially
a good one.
French and Saunders. So do you not remember that? Crack it. Have a look online. You've embarrassed yourself again, my little titch. And also, and perhaps more surprisingly, we're all huge fans, I'm sure, of Evan Davis.
Massive.
BBC economics editor, now presenter on BBC Radio 4's Today programme, and also, of course, host of Dragon's Den. But in aid of Comic Relief, he has gone down there and he has learnt to be a stand-up comedian.
Oh, really?
Tricky gig. So we'll talk to him later as well, and also later. Remember, Rufus a couple of weeks back played a tune which he was very pleased about because it featured, was it brown trousers? Grey trousers. Rory Joseph will be playing for us, singer-songwriter Rory Joseph, in the hub later on the show. Let's have some more music, and we'll get on with the programme. Also, I didn't have the good courtesy to introduce you guys. Harry, of course, works in a bank.
Yes.
And the lovely Sammy from the North.
Hello.
Thank you so much. Arcade Fire, Rebellion, open brackets, Lies, close them brackets.
6 Music.
The Hub.
It's me, Stephen Merchant, my little gang here. Before we move on, let's get any revs that you chaps, ladies, have for me this week. What's happening?
Good news, bad news.
Okay.
Good news, and in a kind of Comic Relief theme, some unfinished business from last week, a Mr. T joke.
Oh, blimey, this is good news.
Yeah, well, T was in last week, it was a joy. My friend Sinead passed on this joke to me this week, quite pleased with it. What's Mr. T's favourite yoghurt?
No idea.
Petit Falou. Kind of works.
Sorry, I didn't... what?
Petit Falou.
Betty Falou?
Petit Filou, but when you say it in a Mr. T voice, it almost sounds like Pity the Fool.
No, it doesn't.
Of course it does.
Petty the Fool. Petty the Fool.
Petit Falou.
What's Petty Falou?
Oh, you're so you the common man. You've got nothing. You don't. Oh, you're in your own world these
What's
days.
yogurt?
Exactly.
Who would eat yogurt? No, I don't. I genuinely petit falou. Is that like
Fromage frais.
is it a tiny little?
Yeah,
Is it a brand name?
Yeah.
Oh, not on the BBC, mate. Not on the BBC. Other
Well-
yogurts are available.
Had we not spent 3 minutes explaining the joke, it wouldn't have been quite so bad. I wasn't anticipating this reaction.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Some of the listeners now are furious.
Well-
absolutely livid.
I'll point them in the direction of my friend Sinead. She lives in Richmond if you want to go and have a row with her.
Yeah, well, maybe I will.
Yeah, well, more bad news.
Go on.
Harry the banker, very much, that's who I am, that's what I do. What have we been talking about for the last 2 years? Credit crunch, recession, everything going wrong. On notice of redundancy, Steve.
That's almost as bad as the joke.
I know! So
So what does that mean, mate? I'm sorry. I don't want to probe too much.
Well,
but
you
does
know,
it mean?
it means ultimately in a few months' time I may not be a banker anymore, which makes me think, you know, that it's a good dynamic for the show, you know, having the creative types and me as a corporate type. So, is there something else I could do which would be a good fit with the show? Or could I go and work for someone else as a sidekick and get more money?
Maybe a professional sidekick.
Yeah, I mean, has Dr. Fox got anyone? I could be like Harry the pharmacist, dispensing wisecracks.
Dispensing wisecracks
Yeah.
and new music.
This is it, because I'm going to have to up my income somehow.
Wow.
If this
So
happens.
you might be getting the chop.
Yeah, it's basically me and a good friend of mine, Twixie. It's one of us has got to go.
Really? Have you been
Yeah.
stealing from the till?
Not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just Credit Crunch Britain?
It's a hard-nosed business decision, Steve. It's a tough world.
Frankly, I'd rather do business with someone called Harry than Twixie.
Me too.
I don't want anyone called Twixie. That was like when I had a bloke called Kit Kat as an accountant. Frankly, it was an absolute shambles. Blimey, that's
Well, it's quite exciting times, but I'm hoping I can.
Well, it's not exciting times, mate. It's terrible.
Well, you know, it makes you look at your life and wonder what you're going to do and what direction you want to go in. But obviously, we've got Evan Davis on later. I'll be asking him if he's got any tips. He must know a lot of people.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
he can get me a job.
He could definitely get you
If
a
he
job.
doesn't, I'll be very upset with
Well,
him.
maybe you could be the sort of fatuous music radio equivalent of Evan. You know, he used to go on Newsnight, offer sensible, serious analysis of
Yeah.
economics. Maybe you could do the same for, say, the Chris Moyle show.
Absolutely.
Frankly, a lot often I've listened to Morsey for some searing assessment of the current economic crisis. I've often not heard it unless it was related to booze or boobs. Maybe we'll get Evan's opinion on boobs and booze as well. But this is big news. This is big news on this
it's
show. I'm worried that it's perhaps inappropriate for us to be joking around and
Well,
laughing.
you know, we'll not crack on about it for too long, but I thought I'd put it out there.
Maybe we get suggestions from the listeners as to how they you know, once you get given the inevitable chop, what you could be doing
What I
next.
should be doing, yeah.
Get in touch, people. You know how to do it. Sammy, have you had a better or worse week?
It's not been great overall.
Well, are you losing your job?
No, but I wouldn't bother us as much as you losing yours would bother you, I think. Because, I mean, I've got actual physical scars from scooping ice cream.
Ooh, scooping ice cream gives you that? That's a terrible...
Exactly.
What, a huge burn on your arm or something there?
That is just a bruise, and these scrapes and scratches here are from a smashed ice cream tub.
Crumbs.
Exactly.
Who knew it was so exciting in the world of dispensing ice cream?
It's been a hard couple of days, I'm not going to lie. This morning on the train, though, I was sleepy, but I was in a pleasant mood, and there was a lady in the seat in front of me, so I could see through the gap. And she was reading a book, and it looked like a Disney book for adults.
Right.
It was like a Disney cover, but no words on it. I thought, this looks amazing. I want to know what this is. Read it over her shoulder. It was porn, Steve. It was.
Oh, what? Disney are making porn now?
Well, it's either
Will they
that.
stop at nothing? No, what? It was so that you just used the
She'd
Disney
covered
cover
it,
in order
yeah.
to It wasn't Mickey doing no.
No. But yeah, she looked.
What, so
at me.
she was reading porn?
Yeah, it was like an advice book, but it had naughty little stories in as well, and the odd sketch.
So it wasn't photographs of naked fellas.
No.
Right. So it was a kind of erotic story.
Yeah, kind of, but also helpful tips and sketches. But I just didn't
tips and
expect it with,
sketches?
you know, Nemo on the cover and Goofy on the back.
Oh my god.
Well, this ties in with a friend of mine at work. He came
Fondling Nemo. Was it? Oh,
But he came in on Wednesday and said, "You wouldn't believe what happened to me on the train home last night." He says, "I was sat next to this other guy in you know, 2 seats opposite another 2 seats. There's a table in the middle, and a woman sat opposite, just started feeling herself up on the.
All right, stop it, right? You've lost your job, you're going crazy, you're off your head, you're drunk.
It genuinely
Sammy,
happened.
don't stop. This is exactly the sort of reason why you're not going to be allowed on either Radio 4 or Newsnight. It's exactly this kind of filth. Sammy, give us a musical recommendation before we descend any deeper into the gutter.
Speaking of filth on trains, that's exactly what this song's about. This is Time is the Enemy by the 45s.
It's a good job I didn't say fingering Nemo. Sammy's musical choice on this week's Steve Show. Explain yourself, Sammy. What was it?
The song was Time is the Enemy, and it's from the 45s only album, the 45s. I've had a look, I've googled it, and you can still get it in very odd and strange places. It's a brilliant album, probably one of my top 3 favourite ever, so maybe go out and get that.
A hearty recommendation is Comic Relief on Friday, as we all know. Let's have a big round of applause, please, for comedian and general all-round good Robbo.
Steve, how are you doing?
Very well, my friend. It turns out we've just woken you from a mid-afternoon sleep.
Oh, well, we've got a little boy, and he's 10 months, and he's just started crawling, and he's not sleeping much, so we're about to take him out into the car. I got him off on my shoulder, lay him down on the bed, and went off to sleep myself.
Oh, that's a sweet, sweet image, isn't it? Not only is this fella
and
doing...
it was lovely. I was having a lovely sleep. And then I remembered the Duke, my affectionate name for you, as your listeners will know, and I thought, hang on, I felt a buzzing in my pocket, and it was my little mobile trying to alert me. So now I'm back on top form and I'm fully awake.
What is your take on Comic Relief? It is obviously a huge honour for you to be releasing the official Comic Relief song this year. You're in the long line of...
They have 2, actually. One is by the Saturdays, which came out last week, and then ours, which is Islands in the Stream, comes out today, download, and tomorrow you can get it in the shops. And we did it, our characters from Gavin and Stacey, Bryn and Nessa, and we've done it with Tom Jones and Robin Gibb.
Now, Tom Jones, obviously you being a Welshman, idolise Tom. You do a dynamite impression of Tom. This must have been a huge thrill.
It was amazing. I mean, it really was. Seriously, it was. We recorded the song over here with Hugh Padgham, the producer, who did. He's got about 6 million Grammys as you go into his studio. He's the man who did all the Police records, and he did In the Air Tonight and stuff. And then we filmed a video in Las Vegas, out in the desert with Tom Jones, which was a real kind of pinch me kind of moment, you know, because we'd be stood out there in the desert, and he was telling us stories about Elvis. I actually said to him, I said, do you have any stories about Elvis that you don't tell in public? And he went, oh yeah. And I said, well, would you tell them to me? And he went, yes. And he told me these stories I'd never heard anywhere. You know, these fantastic stories about Elvis and just, you know, the Las Vegas life generally, really.
Now, presumably, obviously, you can't tell us any of those stories, but...
I can't, no, I can't.
But has it given you a different perspective on Elvis?
No, I mean, you know, it's nothing outrageous. He wasn't smuggling. He wasn't a slave trader or anything. You know, there was nothing like that.
Sure. Because that has been rumours for some time. I understand. Elvis.
He said to me. I said, go on then. He said, well, I was in the shower once, right? And I said, oh yeah. I said, I've heard that one, right? And he said, you've not heard the ending. And then he told this story that I had heard before, but with a completely extra chunk that I've never heard anywhere.
Now, was this jolly for you and Tom Jones to Las Vegas paid for by donations to Comic Relief?
Yeah, it's people, or not by donations. No, it's, you know, companies. Companies do it for you, and we were there. If I look slightly ill in the video, it's because it was all done in the space of sort of 2.5 days. We flew out on the Thursday, came back on the Monday, and the thing was, we got there on the Thursday night, and then you try and stay up a bit, you know, to get over the jet lag.